Today I am redoing this piece. This is a vintage book stand and I'm using Fusion Mineral Paint. I'm going to start by cleaning my product with TSP. So you take a little bit of TSP and I put it in like a Dollar Tree spray bottle, about 2 capfuls per bottle, so it lasts for a really long time. And TSP is basically just a degreaser, so it's great for old furniture or anything really nasty or even like that has a bad smell on getting that out. Most of the time, depending on where I pick up furniture, I will use the TSP on it for 2 full rounds all over the piece just to make sure it is completely clean. And then I wait a little bit before I start painting to let the TSP absorb and dry. I simply clean with paper towel, and I was just showing you like how gross and cruddy your paper towel can be. It's very, very important that no matter what anyone says in the industry, you are cleaning your piece thoroughly and also sanding your piece before you paint it. Okay, now that it's clean, I'm just going to take a sanding block and I'm going to actually wrap it with sanding paper using 220. You want to use 220 because it's fine. It's going to get any kind of a glossy or any kind of an existing finish off of it, but it's not going to scratch your piece. So when it comes to grit on sanding pads, when you see the label there, the higher the grit, the smoother and finer the sanding is, the lower, the grittier it is. So if I was using like 120 or 100 on this, it could easily scratch the piece up, and you don't want that. So as you can see, I'm just doing what's called scuff sanding, and I'm just going all around it, and I'll usually cut a few pieces of the sanding paper and just switch it out as I go, but it just helps my sanding block last a lot longer and I can switch the paper out. After that's done, I'm going to go back and give it another clean with the TSP and wipe off any kind of sanding dust. I prefer to paint in a much larger open space, but it is winter time in Michigan when I film this, so I'm in my studio, so now I'm going to just clean my desk off from any kind of residue. I am using Fusion Mineral Paint in the color Parchment. Parchment is a really great white with a gray undertone, but it doesn't look gray on the finish, but it's just got really, really good coverage. I'm using a professional paint pixie brush. I do not recommend like Dollar Tree brushes, and especially if you're painting furniture, don't go to the hardware store and buy expensive angled wall brushes. Try to find a company like Paint Pixie that sell good decorative brushes for furniture or crafts. If you want to try Fusion Mineral Paint, I have a link. I will post it in the video and you get 10% off their entire site just for trying. I have used Fusion for almost a decade now, and it's the only paint I use for absolutely anything. It has great coverage. It has a built-in primer, so if you noticed, I didn't prime this ahead of time, and it also has a built-in top coat, unless of course you want to add another top coat. I always wax just because I like that extra seal of protection, but it's not necessary. Really quick, 2 things that I use every day when I paint furniture from Dollar Tree. First of all, this 30 pack of foam trays for my paint, and then this pack of they're like mini snack Ziplocs, but they're long and they are perfect for holding your paintbrush. in between paintings to keep it fresh and moist so it doesn't harden up. Absolutely love these. As of right now in July of 2025, these are $1.25 at my Dollar Tree. They always have them, and even if the price went up, I would still continue to buy these because they are lifesavers for my business. I'm using my Paint Pixie French tip. I love this one because it is great. I call it the spindle brush. It's just great for small details and spindles. I always say the first coat is the very hardest whenever you're painting furniture because you have to get every spot. It doesn't look pretty. It's a lot of work. As you can see, I am still going around and around on this one because it's full of detail, spindles, edges. So I believe I ended up giving this a total of 3 coats and letting it dry a good hour or so in between coats. Here she is after coat 1, and remember, with white and black, coat 1 is never pretty and it almost always looks like primer. Okay, I've switched angles for better lighting. Here she is, completed with 3 coats. I'm using a sanding block, and I have this little gripper that came with it at Dollar Tree, but you don't have to have that. You can distress with just the sanding block. Remember, when you're distressing, whatever color you started with is the color that's going to come through when you distress. So if you start with a piece that is already pre-painted in a color and you go to distress it, that's the color that's going to come through. So I only distress pieces that have a raw wood finish before I paint them. All right, I am using Fusion Mineral Paints wax. This is their clear wax. It goes on like butter. It is very soft. This tub has lasted me almost a full year. I'm using a Paint Pixie wax brush, of course, and you want to get something that you can use that gives you good grip and you can really buff your wax into your piece. You don't need a ton of it. A little bit of it goes a long way. As you apply the wax, once you buff it in with your brush, you're going to take a t-shirt rag. Do not use paper towel because it will leave parts of the lint in your piece and you don't want that. Take a t-shirt rag. I actually just get the bag of rags at the hardware store. They last me forever. And you're just going to go over the parts that you waxed and give it an extra buff into your piece with the rag. This is also going to give you that just buttery smooth feeling. This was a really fun project to do. It was very simple. Here it is just sitting on my studio floor. Put some books in it to kind of give the effect of how this looked. I ended up putting this in my vintage booth and it sold in just a couple weeks. It was such a cute piece. If you love furniture painting or vintage, please subscribe to my channel or follow me on social media.